all packed up, my car engine's ignited. No degenerates around, professionals abound. It's a true competition, I don't want to mess around. Everyone knows that this time is special. No one can tell you why. The days go by so fast. Well, there goes Tatty Tats. Everybody's neck goes spastic. What's up, poker cat? You look fanny-pack-tastic. The Amazon's so lively. I'm looking out for Ivy. If you stake me in the main, I'll sell some pieces. Someone buy me. Everyone knows that this time is special. No one can tell you why. Let's get the moon into that super satellite. Sell some jars in the hole by the bathroom lines. Kessler's voucher street, but she can't eat tonight. Well, series go. Man, I can't wait to go. It's so far on ESPN. Hogan is gonna kick us for less than yours. Events are 10 to 100. Texas up the other way. Well, series go. Man, I can't wait to go. What is up, Sherry? Good morning. How are you doing?
Hey, good. How are you?
I'm great. It is day 9 of the World Series of Poker, and we are entertained. We're going to try to do this one with the dogs next to me, so hopefully they won't go crazy. I got one that likes to chase his shadow, and the other one that likes to just chase food whenever possible. So we'll see how that goes.
What kind of dogs are they?
A German Shepherd and a Golden Doodle.
Oh, big dogs.
Yeah, nice. Very friendly and although protective too. So that's always good.
Well, you're speaking to somebody that's really afraid of dogs, so they and I will never meet.
Oh no. All right. So today, the World Series of Poker Day 9 gets off the circus that's going to be pretty crazy this week. The $300 Gladiators event is kicking off with Flight A here in just under an hour. If you haven't gotten your seat for that yet, please make sure to do so. As we get moving through this week, it's going to get crazier and crazier. This week, I do expect like a lot of players in this Flight A. What about you, Sherry?
I think it'll probably be the smallest flight of the 4-day
For sure
1A flights. But just as a side note, the Big 50 in 2019 had 28,377 entries. So I wonder if your prediction of it being higher than a 25K field of players, if that's not going to supersede that number and the 28K.
Yeah. I think they have it kind of dialed in now to max the place out as much as they can, and I think they know a lot of things that we maybe don't.
And you know what? Good for them.
Yeah, it's really great to see how they I remember from 2005 when they first moved over to the Rio, I think it was, and then 2006. 2005 had a lot of problems with lines and things like that. We always had a little bit of that, but each year it got better. But I remember the second year, just a lot of changes and things like that in the way that they scheduled tournaments, and by now they just have it figured out. So many variables running around to
to put these things together. So it's really
Right. And
cool to
let's not
see.
forget that they're trying to work on the line issue, right? Because we know as late as 2019 at the Rio, the line was just ridiculous. And
Yeah.
so, they're trying to get the electronic situation worked out so that, more people can do the via virtual online signups. Unfortunately, those kiosks have been breaking down on a regular, but I know they're working hard to remedy that and come up with a great solution. So, hopefully maybe by next year all that'll be sorted and there won't be lines.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the next year's focus. I wouldn't be surprised to see new kiosks in there next year, or a whole lot more of them, or more staff. Whatever the problem is,
Don't you think,
they'll
I know
definitely.
you're a IT guy, don't you think them trying to network these up-to-date technology kiosks with the antiquated system that's in place at Caesars and the WSOP, don't you think that may be part of the issue?
Well, a lot of the issue is that whenever you're doing anything with gaming, you have to have regulatory approval. So
Right.
they'll reuse, like you said, these antiquated systems, and that's probably more likely the problem is that they have, the software that drives these kiosks is likely similar software to the things that have already been approved over the years. So I
Right.
think I think that has a lot to do with it, and that affects kind of like the online thing. Some people say, well, the software that we had with Poker Stars back in the day or whatever was better than what's available by this vendor or that vendor online now. And in diving into it and talking to people, I think it was Faraz Jaka that had a lot of experience with that. Faraz and somebody else. Anyway, so some of the guys I've talked to over the years, and looking at the regulatory thing, it's really a regulatory issue more than a technology thing. So,
Interesting.
so we'll see. But there are ways to make that work, and if they don't come out with some kind of update, I think there's two ways to attack it. Literally having people assigned 24/7, or well, at least yeah, probably 24/7 to those machines,
Well, and I'm going to tell you
more. And
something. I'd go one further and say, hey, let's get 20 more cashiers in person doing the job, and there will be no line.
well, yeah, that's for sure a good solution. And if you think about it too, the comparison between what they have now to what they had at the Rio is a lot more people now at the cashier cage. So when you look at it, it doesn't look that much bigger, but definitely, I would say there's at least you know 30% more windows on the one side, and then what you don't realize is that on the back side, where they're doing payouts and they're doing now the TBIC stuff, and then boxes and all of that stuff. That's where they've really taken and increased a lot of the capacity. So as you're having problems um, with these kiosks, then you can go to the cage there, but not the main one. If
Right.
you've
The
been there
IP
before,
cage. Yeah.
yeah, you walk past. It's where you would go to payouts. So follow a place to payouts. You'll at least know where that is, so that you can come collect your payout later. But yeah, if you have a TBIC account, or if you're going to set one up, I think that you can do that in that secondary room and get yourself
And
out of that main line. So
indeed, because one has nothing to do with the other, and you'll be mad if you stand in the one line, which won't help you, right? It only adds
yeah,
to your pain and your
yeah, I
angst.
don't think
So,
you can make a TBI. I'm not sure if that is a question for Kev Math for sure, but yeah, that line is not really meant for the TBIC deposit, that main line. So I think it is
right.
the second line, uh, and you'll be a little happier to get in there. But I think they still do wires and stuff through that secondary line. So sometimes it can get pretty long. But
let me just suggest you ask before you get in a line if you're in the correct
yeah,
line. I think that'd be a good thing to
for
do.
sure.
So what else is going on at
Yeah,
10
so
o'clock
10
today?
10 a.m. Is flight A of the 300, like we said, and then 10, and then also day 2 of the $1,500 no limit six-handed. If you're still in that, it's time to start moving in that direction to get there. Um, the 12 p.m. day 1 event is the $2,500 no limit freeze out, along with the restart for the 25K. We'll get to that later. A lot of big names left in that, obviously. 1 p.m. is the $10,000 7-card stud championship day 3. So they're getting down near the money of that. And then also at 1 o'clock is the $1,500 Omaha high low 8 or better day 2. And then day 1 of the $1,500 limit Badugi is at 2 p.m. today.
Well, and that 7-card stud day 3 return, they're down to 13 players.
Yeah.
Max Hoffman is in the lead with 1.5 million in chips. So good luck to all of those folks. Lucky 13 returning for day 3.
Yeah, so WSOP event number 12 of the 5K freeze out. 148 players started that event, coming into day 2 with 16 remaining, and Jeremy Iyer was leading the way, and he ended up taking down the tournament, and along with 649,000. Along with the WSOP gold bracelet. He defeated GG Team. I'm sorry. Let me say that again, Sherry. He defeated
Easy for you to say.
GG Team Pro Felipe Ramos. Heads up. Felipe took home just over 400,000. Coming into the event, Jeremy only had 812,000 in career earnings. This gives him a total of 1.4 million in career cashes.
Whoop, whoop.
And his previous best cash was 144,000. So that's a big jump up to that.
That's amazing. And we already discussed event 14, but let's go on to event 13, which was that $600 pot. I'm sorry, easy for me to say. $600 pot limit Omaha deep stack. What a great turnout for that. 3,200 entries. I think that speaks volumes as to the fact that folks want to play that at the World Series, don't you?
Yeah, exactly. A great tournament turnout. And
Joseph Altamont defeated Michael Holmes. Um, and in the shortest, they're saying it was a short-lived heads-up duel to claim the biggest slice of the 1.6 million. So he got 217,000 and Holmes got 134,000. Those are
I got
some great
I gotta
numbers.
say this, Sherry. You're not gonna like this. His ex girlfriend didn't like the poker lifestyle. He dropped out of it for a while, and now he's back in it with 4 online WSOP circuit event caches this year, including a first place in the $3,200 high roller for 87,000. He's had solid live results as well this year for a total of over 180,000.
See what getting rid of the wrong woman will do for you.
Yes, you got to have positive people in your life. No,
That's right.
just kidding. We don't know. Maybe she was the right one, but the wrong one for him.
That's
I
right.
felt kind of bad reading that this morning. I'm like, this poor girl, man. They're just like, anyway. So the poker lifestyle, I can kind of understand that depending on the person,
Look,
but
if she was the wrong one for him, doesn't mean she was a bad person, right?
yes, for sure.
There you go.
So the
So,
other notables who cashed in the event: Jonathan Dimmig in 10th, Sean Deep in 17th, another deep run for him with 9,000 cashed here. Greg Raymer in 88th, just around $2,000 in cash for him. And then one of my favorites, I don't know about you, Sherry, but Brandon Shack Harris, 95th for 2,000. I just love that guy. He cracks me up.
He's a good guy. He
Just
is a
has, yeah,
good guy.
he has just such a wit, like he's just such a smart guy. Corey Aldermere in 111th as well for about $2,000. So
Good for
that
him. Well, you know
is,
what? I'm going to talk about the Player of the Year points that have shifted now due to everybody getting some wins in over the last couple of days. And our boy Chad Eversledge, I hope that's how you say it,
yeah.
Eversledge, moved into first place over Tyler Brown. And they're separated by just about 210 points, give or take a couple of points. And then such notables as Jeremy Iyer that you mentioned earlier is in fifth place, and Sean Winters in ninth place. So, there's a lot of points to be earned, and that lead is going to change often, I think.
And I saw Chad was running deep in another event. I don't have it here. I'll have to look through and see, but I was surprised to see, he comes off and now he's like in the money in something else, which
And,
I don't
and is
see.
it the stud event, maybe?
It might be 7 card stud, the 10K. Yeah, he's eighth in chips in the 10K 7 card stud event. So, and that one is down to 76 players surviving to day two. So kind of a small field there, but still, he's up near the top of the leaderboard, trying to make another deep run.
Well,
So
and there's only 13 left in that stud event. So, that's amazing.
is it 13 left? I have maybe
Yeah,
I
the
have.
final 13. Max Hoffman, I mean, this is just off of the WSOP site. Max Hoffman will lead the final 13 players into the
You
WSOP
are right.
Global.
You are
I'm
right.
mad you're checking me again, but it's okay. I still
Yeah.
love you.
No, you are right, and that's good. That's why I'm glad that we both look at this stuff. Let me
Yeah,
double check here. Yeah. Yeah.
there's so much information. Believe me, we both know that it's very easy to get it wrong, and I never have a problem somebody double checking me because first and foremost, I want to make sure I'm giving out the right information. So
Yeah, for
please
sure.
double check on.
And Chad has 472,000 in chips in eighth position with 13 players left. So another deep run for him, and that'll, he's in first already without this run. So obviously a lot of big names left in this. Um,
For sure.
Max Hoffman is leading the way. Max Coleman in second. Brian Yoon, four-time bracelet winner Brian Yoon. Uh, let's see, David Bakes Baker, Ben Yu, Dan Shack, Alex Livingston, and the list goes on and on. 13 left in that, so they'll wrap up that today. And man, if Chad can get through and take down another tournament, that would be pretty insane. Pretty
It would be
short.
pretty impressive for the first 10 days of the WSOP, I'd say.
Yeah, pretty short. Probably a pretty short list of people that have won 3 bracelets in a year. I don't know. I think Raj, I think you said something about that yesterday. Maybe if not, I could be mistaken. But
I think
anyway,
he did too. I think there were 2 names on that list. Maybe he could remind us.
yeah, I think Phil Hellmuth might have been one of them. And anyway, so
Poor Raj is trying to connect.
yeah, so 13 players left in that. Rob Mizrachi was the bubble boy, and the min cash in that was 16,000. Max Hoffman, like we said earlier, is the chip leader, but he has 1.5 million in chips, 115,000 in career earnings. His GPI rank, 51,000. So Only 12 career caches listed on Hendon Mob, 3 of them being WSOP caches. He won the WSOP, I'm sorry, he won the Foxwoods $1,500 main event back in 2017 for 64,000. So
Good
that's
for
what's
him.
neat about the World Series, like just seeing somebody come out and have a chance to break out into the poker community, so to speak, as a
Hey
really
Raj,
well
do you
known.
have what we seek? You remember what you told us yesterday?
Which one? I was connecting, so I missed the conversation.
It's okay. How many people have won more than one bracelet in a summer, and who were they? And how
No,
many?
more than
So
3. Sorry, more than
there
2.
were 3 was the max, and there were about 5 or 6 players.
Okay,
Phil
5 or
Ivey,
6.
Phil Hellmuth, um, I think Jeffrey Lissandro were the names.
Oh yeah, he had
Oh,
that one.
Jeff. Yep. Yep.
And
Yep.
then
Yep.
the 2 or 3 others were like from the 70s, I think. So
Okay, thank you. We appreciate that. You doing okay today, bud?
yeah, I was looking at the stud results. I recognize Matt Vengren. He's on the spaces a lot. He got 14, so good run by him.
Great run. Good for him. Good for him.
Raj, you're our official spaces spotter person. Okay, so that's always I'm always like, I hope I don't miss somebody that's making a deep run in here.
Well, it's easy to do, isn't it? There's so many names on the list.
Yeah,
Good
that's a
grief.
lot of details you guys have to spit out every day. So I can grab the things you miss. So it's not a problem.
Well,
That's
we
cool.
appreciate that for sure.
So,
Well,
WSO, so the event 13, did we do that yet, Sherry?
we did. We
Okay,
did. As a matter of fact, I was going to say I can run through the list of the tournaments that are going on elsewhere.
sounds good.
Okay, and you be ready with the win and the Venetian after I get done.
Okay, I'll grab those
All
too.
right. At the Aria today at 11 and at 5 p.m., there's going to be a $400 Bet MGM satellite where they're going to give 10 seats away to the $3,500 main event. 10 seats minimum, of course. Golden Nugget at 11 a.m., they have a $300 pot limit Omaha tournament, a 10K guarantee. At 1 p.m., they have a $200 daily deep stack with a 25K guarantee. At 6 p.m., they have a horse tournament, a 25 guarantee with a $200 buy-in. 7 p.m., there's a $130 nightly with a 5K guarantee. Over at the Orleans at 11 a.m. today, there is a $250 no limit 6 max 25 guarantee. A 4 p.m. $120 buy-in no limit bankroll builder with a $5 not $5 a 5K guarantee. 7 p.m. is a $200 no limit super stack 20K guarantee. And yesterday, the Orleans held a ladies event, and I've been trying all morning to get the results, and it must have went late into the night, so we're still waiting on that. But go ahead.
Yeah. So today at the Win is day 1D of the No Limit Hold'em, day 1D of the 1.5 million guarantee. That's an $1,100 buy-in, 30,000 in chips with 40-minute levels. And then over at the Venetian is the $1,100 pot limit Omaha Monster Bounty, one day event, and that's $200 bounties from the start, and then those bounties are increased to 2,000 once they reach the money. That event starts at 11:10 with late reg until 5:55. $100,000 buy-in, 35,000 in chips, 30,000. I'm sorry, 30-minute levels, and then yeah, so that's the event there today. I was just looking to see if there's a day 2, but they wrapped up with the $800 no limit. Ultimate Stack was just a 1-day event as well. So that's what's going on at the Wynn and the Venetian. And let me just double check this here. Yeah. So, and I don't think I mentioned at the Wynn, the day 1D of the 1100 1.5 million guarantee that gets kicked off at noon. So, so that you'll want to head over there. Kind of early too. I think that the Wynn is a little bit better. I didn't go over to the Wynn this last trip, but it seems like
Right.
the really the heart of the construction is all around the Horseshoe and Paris. So
Yeah, I think the wind, it just gets out on the peripheral of all that,
yeah.
right? It's just the center of the strip, and it's just bad timing. Honestly, it's just bad timing. And hopefully folks have figured out a way that works for them, whether it be park at the MGM and take the monorail, or park at the Harrah's and walk over, or take the monorail. um, whatever that solution is for them, I hope it's working out, and it's a low frustration rate for them.
So I want to cover the event number 15, the $1,500 six-handed no limit hold'em day 2. That's getting kicked off here in about a half an hour. 25.
Hey, Brian,
Yeah.
before you do that, I was going to say MGM's got one event at 10 a.m. They've got a mixed PLO 8, PLO high low, and Omaha 8 for
That's a good point.
For $500 buy-in, 30K guaranteed. So that's
awesome. Thank you.
And they got the MGM championship or something going yesterday, right? I think I remember saying that for yesterday. Oh no, I'm sorry. They had a satellite for the ARIA championship. So can you check on when that is?
Yeah, that was 3,500 ARIA championship. They had a satellite yesterday, last night at 6 p.m. For $400.
Yeah, and then when is that ARIA championship? That's what I was going to ask.
I think it's tomorrow. I think day 1A is tomorrow. Hold on.
I believe that's the case.
It is Friday, June 9th at noon is the 3,500 bet MGM no limit day 1, and then day 2 will be Sunday. Day 1B will be Saturday at noon as well.
Yeah, so another great event coming to town for sure.
Right
So
on.
you can either play a $300 or a $3,500, one of the two, whatever fits. and then
Right.
really between 9 a.m. and probably 9 p.m. every day, there's all kinds of different stuff going on. So plenty of tournaments to play, cash games everywhere, and all of that. So I want to talk about the WSOP event number 15, the $1,500 six-handed no limit hold'em. That's going to day 2 in exactly half an hour from now. 2,454 players started that event. There's 161 remaining, with Brandon Hall, the chip leader, with 1.4 million. Stephen Chen just behind with 1.1 million. John Manetti putting together another deep run. He's in 21st with 640,000 in chips. As we all know, he's four-time bracelet winner, 3.6 million in career cashes. But the interesting thing is he just finished 4th in the $1,500 WSOP 7-card stud event. So I would expect he's going to get some points out of this and be able to move up the leaderboard quite a bit as well.
100%. Good luck to him and everyone else that's left in that event 15.
Event number 16, the 25K high roller 8-handed. That's going to get going again at 12 p.m. today. 264 players started, which is a pretty good sized field for a 25K. 93 remaining. Calvin Anderson is your chip leader with 1.6 million. Freddie Deeb, he wore his lucky shirt to day 1, and he's got 1.4 million. So he's just behind. But if you look at the list, Sherry, like a total
Killer
field
list.
here, right?
Killer list,
Like,
right?
you don't get like much crazier than this. So a lot of big names left. I Caxton, Brian Kim, Calvin Lee, like I mentioned, Eric Wasserson. Going down the list, like Jake. Never mind that guy. Joe.
He who shall not be named.
Yeah, a name that shall not be named. Danny Tang. Stephen Chidwick, just like on and on. John Hennigan again in here in 38th place. Espen Jorsted in 39th place. Brian Rast. Dominic Nietzsche. I always mess up his name. I just remember him from like re-raising me in the main the year he won the Player of the Year. Like every time I put any money in the pot, he was like ready to raise.
So really, you just want to call him asshole, but you didn't hear that from me.
Joe McKeon, Nick Petrangelo, Eric Seidel. I got him one time, so he probably owes me one. Nick Schulman, and like on and on. David Peters, Sean Deep's still in there, and Negranu and everybody else. So a big stacked field heading back to day 2 here. So event number 17, the $1,500 Omaha high-low 8 or better. They wrapped up day 1 yesterday. There's 394 players remaining. 1,143 started, with Chris Taiba. I'm sorry, Adel Shakarian is your chip leader with 239,000, and that is scheduled to have day 2 of the. Let me see. Do you have the time there, Sherry? $1,500 Omaha High Low is at 1 p.m. for day 2 of that. So that'll get kicked off later this afternoon, and should be getting down to, let's see. Should be getting down pretty close to a final table, I would think, right?
Yeah.
How many are they left with from day?
So they're left with 394 coming into today. So
are they planning a day 3 or no for that event?
Yeah, I think it is scheduled for a day 3.
Okay.
But they always list on the structure sheet to be determined, but seems like quite a few to get through. And a lot of times when they have 400 or so, I haven't looked at the blinds here. 770. Let me see. The chip leader has.
He's got about 60 blinds.
60 big blinds.
Yeah. So I think it's going to get shortened pretty quick. That's not many blinds. So.
Yeah, so that's good. And then, like I said earlier, day 1A of the Gladiator today. The Gladiator, I don't know. I won't make up names. I was always trying to make up names of the daily deep stack that was like the Scuzzball Classic, but I just don't feel you can do that if it's a real WSOP event.
Well, I think we need to be a little more positive than that. It could be Stinky Stan's, Stinky Stan's stud event or something.
Well, here's the thing, Sherry. The winner of this gets a World Series bracelet,
right?
And I don't know. Other than the main, I don't think people ask like, "What's your bracelet?" And as much as they're like, "Wow, you have a bracelet. That's pretty awesome."
Right. I can't disagree with that statement. I want to do a daily reminder about what Ebony's doing. Is that okay? We good with that?
Go for it.
Okay, Ebony Kennedy. If you don't follow her on Twitter, it's your choice. But check in with her Twitter because she's doing an Ebony Booty Blitz every day. And basically what it is she's hiding a card protector somewhere at the WSOP, and every day on Twitter, she will give you a hint as to how to find that card protector. And if you find that card protector, you need to like video yourself doing it or whatever, and she will give you 1% of the tournament she's playing that day. So don't miss that opportunity, folks, to help build your own bankroll.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Any two cards?
Good morning. I was going to piggyback off some of the epic bracelet runs. Madsen had 2 firsts in 2006, and he also had 2 third places. So he had an epic 4 events there in the 06.
Yeah,
How awesome!
Yeah,
no one's catching him that year.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
I think that was the year that I was telling Dutch the other day about how they were gambling. I think I told you guys maybe yesterday they were gambling on this at the table during one of the events on who could hold the grip exercise tool closed the longest.
Oh God, no, you didn't tell us that one.
Oh my goodness, Sherry. So
how long? I gotta know.
So I'm telling Dutch this story, and I forgot that the other pro that Jeff was gambling with was actually Dutch. So it was really weird because, back then I knew Dutch from probably TV and whatever, but now we've become friends. It's like, kind of, I think of it as almost like a completely different person, like you just don't know.
How long did he let you tell the story before he told you it was him?
Well, it's funny because neither one of us really realized right away that it was him because he was like, wow, was Jeff walking around doing that? Was that some like thing that he was trying to game people in some, he
get the edge.
He thought he was, I'm telling him the story. He's like, he did that to me too. It's like, it took me like, I said, maybe it was you. And then I remembered, yeah, it was you.
Now that's funny. And, we need to say that, this is Dutch, the big winner this week, and tag partner of our software guy over here, Brian.
Yeah. So I think he after 3 bracelets, coming close to a 4, I was already leaning toward, letting him call when he wanted to play versus me. But, now I think I got to let him be the coach, so to speak.
Now you got to bow down.
And he'll put me in when he's ready. So
yeah, Dutch, he had some epic runs too. And then, Mercier too, of course, got off just hot, just like Chad, with 2 of them. Had the massive bracelet bet with Vanessa Selps, who sold a lot of it, because she got, rightfully so, got very worried after the first week or 2, and then I think he took a second. But yeah, if Chad can do this, which is funny because I mean it sounds so crazy to think he's a lock for 3. Which he's not, but it almost seems like he can get 4 because of all the online events. I think 20 or so online. There's added events every year, so it's possible we see someone hit number 4, which he's off to a great start. Yeah, he in that 10 card stud championship, it's all killers, all crushers. So I think he was leading it halfway through, or he was leading it halfway through yesterday. Took a bunch of hits, but still recovered. So yeah, he's got a shot at that, and we'll see how that goes. And then I'm super excited to see the 25K final table, because that's all the crushers too, high rollers. So yeah, we'll see. I think Chad can do it. We'll find out today.
Yeah.
Crushers, look who is upon us. Good morning, Jeff.
Good morning, Sherry. Good morning, Brian. How are we doing today?
We're great, man. How are you doing? Off of a nice run there.
Congrats, brother. Congrats.
Thank you. Yeah, it's still honestly it hurts. It's funny, like you go so deep, and like I don't know, I put so much into it, and then on day 3 I last like 15 minutes, I lose 2 flips and it's over. It's just like, well, a 75-25 and a flip and it's over. It's just like so bittersweet, but it was an incredible run, and I can't complain. So I mean, there's nothing like running deep in the WSOP big fields. So
I love this.
Ama-
I love this tweet. I'm just making that you made. A face made by a man who peeled the bottom of his calling range facing an all in on a day 3 for $1 million.
Hey Jeff, can you? I missed when you talked about it yesterday, the day before. So what happened? Was it Dan Shack that got you in that hand? Can you tell me what happened? He pulled a bounty too, I think, right?
yeah, yeah. So I mean, I actually, I mean, obviously everybody knows Dan Shack, and I've played with him, kind of deep in 2 different bracelet events before, like like a late day 1 spot or whatever, and like I know that he goes for it. So like if it was a tighter player, I honestly might have folded my 8s for like 8 big blinds versus a jam early position, but I knew that like he definitely had like some stuff I was absolutely dominating. I wasn't gonna like edge past there. My final 3 table draw was actually like I got pretty much all of the best players left in the field. At that, like when we started the day with 30, and all of the worst players in the field that were left essentially were at my starting table with 30 left. And I was like, oh my God, let's go. This is great. Like, because I mean, you play with all these people. I moved tables with like 100 people left, um, like multiple times. So I had a good feeling of who was who in the field, and did all my research and everything. So I was feeling so pumped about my table draw. And I think I had the most chips at my table, or second most chips at my table draw, and the only guy that covered me, um, with with like 30 left, the final 4 table draw, the only guy that covered me was like this guy who didn't realize it was a 3-day event. um, he started his first day at an accounting job on Monday, which was day 3, because he had no idea. Yeah, and I mean he was doing some crazy stuff, which like those players can be very dangerous though. And he was pulling off some like really cool bluffs though. But I mean, in terms of like, he wasn't like a sharp player. So that was the only guy that covered me at the table too. So I was feeling really good about it. And like, I think I played 2 hands at that table, and we broke and went into the redraw. And then I had Big Hooney on my direct left. Had the Brazilian pro that got either 5th or 6th, like on his left. And then like basically, like I said though, like everybody that I felt like was very sharp was at that table. So I was like, okay, I mean, I really can't pass on this spot. Looked at the 8s. Dan shoved for like 11.5 big blinds, and I was just like, man, if he just, I'm like, just have 7s like one time. Like he was the kind of guy I felt like he could have like 5s. Like there's definitely some people in that field that are just like only shoving premium hands, but like the bounties weren't also that big of a consideration anymore too. If they were, then you'd have to be shoving, like he'd have to be shoving so much tighter too. So it was just one of those things. Went with it. And then, yeah, ran out king on the river, and it was the exact hand after I was in the big blind with ace king, called ace 4 for like 10 big blinds, and it was over that quickly. But I mean, that's the structure that we played. So yeah, that was just a little bit about day 3. I mean, the whole event was insane though.
So tell me, what do you think? What do you think were some of the things that got you through that field?
Oh man, I mean, um, I would say like it's just a combination, um, because I mean I was grateful or lucky enough, when I wasn't playing professionally in 2021, or like I was thinking about playing full time, and then I got 10th in the Colossus in 2021, and so I felt pretty comfortable navigating a deep WSOP field, and that was like my first WSOP event back then. Um, and I would say like the difference between running deep and not running deep is just like being focused, not making mistakes. Like on day 2, this European crusher, I won't dox him because like it was not very embarrassing, but it was embarrassing for him. I opened under the gun. He looked tired, like maybe he was drinking the night before. It was like towards the beginning of the start of day 2, and I opened under the gun off of like 20 big blinds. And I was in seat 2, right?
Right.
And the what's it called? Like seat 7 has like 3 big blinds, reopens the action by going all in. And I'm like, oh yes, like I have ace jack off. I'm like, my ace jack off, like I'm going for the bounty. There's still, $2 million bounties. And then I can see that he's in seat 8, and he's looking at seat 9 and seat 1 only, and he covers both of them. They both have like 11 big blinds. So like he's probably thinking he can shove like any 2 cards, whatever. So he goes all in. But like then all of a sudden he like pulls his chips back, like before it's my turn to act. I'm like, oh, he definitely didn't see that I opened under the gun. So like this is,
He forgot.
yeah.
Yep.
So I was like, this
Or
is
didn't see it. Yep.
100%. So I'm like, well, this is not as strong as like it actually, would appear to be from like an under the gun open. Like you gotta be pretty strong to be repopping it even at a bounty there. So
Right.
I put in the chips. Then as soon as I realized that he had queen 8 off, the other guy had king 10. I held against the queen 8, which was massive. I covered him by like 15,000. And I mean, that's just an example of like he made a massive mistake for probably what was a lot of money there.
And you know what? I agree from what you're describing, but more importantly, you were paying attention and you caught that read. So that's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
Yes.
It was, but I mean, there's just so many different things. Like I feel like when I'm locked in those fields, and I'm able to like make some big folds, like, and be disciplined, like pre-flop sometimes, like, I mean, late in day 1, when we're like 200 from the money, I have a guy at my table who was calling basically any all in, and it was like pretty obvious. Like he wanted, his strategy was he wanted a big stack for day 2. He didn't care about making the
Right.
money. He didn't care about anything. And then there's like this European pro who reshoved like as a bluff with like queen 10 suited for like 25 big blinds, 100 from the money, which is like definitely like a GTO jam or whatever you call it. And it's just like, dude, this
Right.
guy's calling any 2 cards. The guy calls him with ace 10 off, so has him dominated, holds, and it's just like, if this European was paying attention or adjusting properly, like, he shouldn't have jammed against this guy. And then that guy held, and then I was able to get actually a lot of chips off of this guy. So I mean, in these fields, there's just so much that I feel like you have to adjust to. And the players that are playing perfectly or like trying to play like a GTO strategy, I think don't have much of a chance in these big fields.
And that's kind of how I feel about the whole GTO thing. I think you got to be aware of what it is and how it's used and all that. But when you have a big field, there's nothing like a good read.
Isn't it funny how sometimes, Jeff, have you noticed this? Like everybody at the table can see something except for the one guy that should be seeing it.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, like, it was just so blatantly obvious. Like, and the guy was like one of the players that's playing like a 40 VPIP. It's just like he's just playing so many hands. And he's calling. It's like, it's different if like he's playing a lot of hands and he's folding, because then it's actually good to jam. But if he's playing all those hands and calling, then like, you're just running it against a guy all the time who has 2 live cards. Like, even if you have queen 10 suited there and he calls with like 7-8 suited, which like he definitely would have 100%. I'm very convinced for 25 big blinds he was like, that's not good either near the money, So there's just
Right.
there's just so much of that. I mean, Yeah, and I
yeah, you're gonna take a 40% chance of going bust
yeah
near the money to get that 10%, 20% edge.
yeah
You know?
when like with 100 left, like so it's like 1,200 paid on day 1D. And I mean, you know, the gladiators of poker is going to be the same way. You're 150 from the money. You just have to make it like an orbit or two, and then you're in the money, and then you can kind of, you know, relax, do your thing. Like, I think I made the money with like, I don't know, 8 to 10 big blinds. So, I mean, you don't have to do anything crazy. It's all about securing the bag first and going from there. But yeah, I mean, that was, there's a lot of that. But like, I wasn't perfect for sure, like at all. On day 2, well, so I tried to make my hotels free for the whole trip, right?
Amen, brother.
Yeah, but that means I hotel hop 3 times in 16 days, which isn't exactly
Yeah,
ideal,
that's
but it is what it is.
yeah,
And it probably costed me a lot of money because at the end of day 1, I didn't realize that the bellhop stand at what's it called, at Horseshoe closed at 12:45, and I was moving hotels to Excalibur. Checked my suitcase there because I hopped in the
yeah,
flight early on. And then anyway, with that, I you know, so my suitcase was left overnight. I was wearing my same outfit from day 1 on day 2. And then I was like, yeah. So, and then I was having questions of like, do I change it when I get my suitcase on dinner break? Like, what do I do? Because like, you know, is it the outfit? Is it me? I'm not like superstitious, but I'm a little stitious, if you ever heard that. So,
Yep.
yeah. And so anyway, then on dinner break, I was like, okay, I'm gonna take my suitcase back to Excalibur in the 60-minute dinner break and get back to the tournament. And that was my plan. I ended up being like 30 minutes late from dinner break, and I had chip lead at my table with like 82 people left. I had like 40 big blinds, and I was going to be able to apply a lot of pressure. There's still a few. There's still like the 250K bounty in, 100K bounty, like, and I completely lost that spot because I was late because of like, you know, the strip traffic
oh no,
and Uber. So like, I
Ugh.
definitely wasn't perfect because I look up the Uber and it says that the closest Uber is 10 minutes away when I ordered it, and it said that it was going to be like a 22-minute ride from Excalibur, and I only had like, you know, I was assuming it was going to be like 15 minutes or whatever. So I was just like, oh
Right.
shit. So I was like, guess I'm running on the strip because that's like 35 minutes. It's like 30 minutes walking. So I was like sprinting down the strip in 95-degree weather.
Oh my God. Okay, let me give everybody a hint right here for future reference, people. If you're ever at the Excalibur, and because all this nonsense going on with the construction, and you need to get over to the Horseshoe, walk outside over the bridge to Tropicana, then over the bridge to MGM, then go down the stairs outside and around the corner to Valet, up to the monorail, and take the monorail over to Horseshoe.
yeah, close. You're close. The monorail entrance. You got to go in the hotel though.
No,
Um,
they used to have an outdoor.
yeah,
Did they?
I
Did
don't think
they?
they do that anymore. Not that I've seen. I don't,
Yeah, I took that either last year or the year before. But anyway, my point is, catch the monorail at the
Fine
MGM.
monorail and MGM.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
definitely
I
wish
think
I would have.
Monorail entrance at the MGM is now in the district over there where all the restaurants and shit are. So,
Oh God.
yeah, that's how you get to the monorail.
yeah. So if you come down from that bridge, you would just walk through the casino to the district there where all the restaurants and stuff are, and it's in there. But yeah, yeah, that definitely I would say. And as you're I mean, that's the hard thing, Jeff. I was just talking about this yesterday. I kind of feel like it's bad luck to book my hotels sometimes if I'm like, so I'm just going to get over that because, you know, honestly, if you get deep, then you're just, you know, trying to figure it out. You know,
Yeah,
you know, you're sitting there playing for $1 million, and you're trying to figure out where you're staying that night.
Yeah,
so,
and I mean,
I know what.
Sorry, go ahead.
One year, the 1 year that I did cash in the main, I was able to get the floorman to help me, or actually, like the guy next. Remember that guy? I don't know if you remember his name, Mark Voss. He somehow had like a casino host, and he was able to get his casino host at the Rio to help me get a room. But I don't know. Maybe the floor guys can help with that kind of thing too.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I had a friend too that offered me to like keep my bag in his room when I was running deep in day one. I should have just done that at Horseshoe then. But like I didn't check that the bellhop was closing, but yeah, so.
And who would have thought they closed, right?
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
It's Vegas. I thought that they would be open
Right.
24/7. If I was in like some, small town with a winery, I thought that they would close maybe, but
Yeah.
And you're never going to be able to check into the new hotel really. Certainly not get your bags to the room before, day 2 or day 3. So
yeah, 100%.
it's just really hard. You just lose out on that time that you really need the room. And then let's say you have a 1 o'clock restart and they're trying to kick you out of the room at 11 o'clock that you finally got to sleep at 4 a.m., so.
Well, tell us, Jeff, what you're going to play next, bud.
Hold on, I got a question first before you do that. What the hell does a winery have to do with it? That was the oddest little addition to that statement that I've ever heard.
No, I don't know. I was just saying, like, a different town that's not Vegas. You know what I mean? Like, I'd expect the bellhop to close and stuff like
Right.
that. But Vegas, I thought
We
would
know
be
what
open
you meant.
24/7.
And one more thing before you tell us what you're going to play, Jeff. First off, good run for sure. And you got to kind of look at it both ways, with the glass half full. It's a butterfly effect. I mean, you could have missed that bust out period right there in that 30 minutes that you're late. Of course, it could go either way, and yeah, you could have just super crushed because you were in a nice spot with a massive chip stack. But everything happens for a reason. So I mean, maybe you skipped a lot of different coolers that happened, but I know it's definitely bittersweet going super deep like that. I mean, the equity, just running hot right there, holding against Shaq, or even somehow missing that hand, going to the bathroom real quick or something, coming back and then running it up. I mean, it is definitely sickening, but you'll get other spots, and you just got to look at it positive. But yeah, definitely good.
Thank you.
So what you going to play next, Jeff?
So I think today I'm gonna dodge the Gladiators today, only because I want to see how it goes today. I mean, nothing against the World Series, but so I'm gonna play in the 1100 win today. I'm gonna be out in Vegas until the 14th, and then come back the 28th for the main. So yeah, just gonna play like maybe $2,000 tournaments and under, whatever the World Series, win, Venetian, whatever they have to offer. But yeah, I mean, definitely feeling good though. But yeah, definitely bittersweet. It's crazy. It's just still so crazy to me. Like, and I mean, people say it all the time, but until like you go through it, it's like, I pulled off probably the sickest bluff of my poker career against Eric Baldwin, if you know him. And I didn't even know who he was. I just figured that he was really good. I triple barreled off to him with like 100 people left, and that earned me like 20 big blinds. And I don't know. There's just so many things that have to go right, and then it can all come to an end. Even if you feel like you're making pretty much all the right decisions, it can all come to an end in 2 hands straight when you're in 10th and chips with 30 people left in a field like that. So I don't know. You just never know, So, but yeah, it's crazy.
Well, I'm going to let you know that I arrive on the 27th, so hopefully we can meet in person. But more importantly, if you have any more suitcase issues, I'm at the Horseshoe, and so are a lot of my friends. So we can certainly, dock that suitcase in one of our rooms. So just message me if you need it.
Yeah,
that's a good tip. So next up, you're gonna play the 2K, and then you're gonna be there for a week, and then back kind of for the main. What do you normally play? Do you do a lot of cash?
So I'm a tournament grinder in Pennsylvania. I play mostly online, and I live like an hour and 15 minutes away from Philadelphia. So I'll play in like whatever they have, like a monthly like 360, 150K, or like a 600, 200K, something like that. Nothing like too crazy, and I'll usually like play that like once a month, head down there. But I play tournaments professionally in Pennsylvania. So, I mean, it's been really good experience. I mean, very, very blessed that online poker got legalized. That's the only reason, that I'm able to have the opportunity to be out in Vegas, have all of myself. It's just been, really, really crazy experience having online poker be legalized. And it was something that I wasn't sure ever would happen for us. There's always rumblings. Like, I remember when I was like 15 years old, I was watching Jay Carver's stream, and he had a command in his chat, which some people might know, which was like !PA, !NY, !MI. And those commands were a direct link to send your representative. So I remember putting in the command for !PA, sending a message to my representative to legalize online poker using my mom's name, hoping that by the time I was old enough that I could play online poker. So, I mean, listen, that might not have done anything, but it might have done something. So you never know with everything.
I love it.
Yeah.
I think it's important for people to speak up and do that. It certainly does make a difference, because if you're not speaking and somebody else is, then then they think the whole world is just on the one side of it. So that's really important.
Bobby, what you got for us, bud?
I'll tell you what, it's been a while since we've had a kid like this that we've talked to. It's been as wide-eyed and refreshing to have this kind of attitude toward poker and to be able to play it for a living. It's kind of fun to listen to. So I just wanted to say that Jeff, you got a good head on your shoulders and shit. Figure out your hotel rooms and whatnot, though. But I'm glad I got to meet you on here. You sound like a great kid.
I appreciate it, Bobby. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't know. I definitely just try to stay humble as much as I can and appreciate the game for what it is. Like, have fun. Like, I try to have as much fun as possible at the tables. Like, I call clock on the Euros that take too long. I try to defend players at the table. I try to do what's best for the game, but also I try to win money. So it goes both ways. Like, yeah, I don't know. That's kind of the mindset I take. With like the reason that I started joining these Twitter spaces was the day that Doyle Brunson passed away. Joey Ingram had that tribute to Doyle, and I was like, damn, I play this game for a living, and I knew Doyle, obviously. I watched him on cash games growing up, but like, I didn't know his story. I didn't know about him being down in Texas, bringing the World Series of Poker to Vegas. Like, I didn't know I had him and like the Texas guys to thank for that. And I guess then I was like, I should start appreciating the history of poker. And like, as people are diving into Doyle, and I play in a small player pool in Pennsylvania, and he really understood like the problem of like that they teach in school, which is like the tragedy of the commons, which is the issue where if basically, like, in poker, I equate it to like if people are being toxic to each other, toxic to the dealers, whatever it is, then it's going to hurt the game in a negative way. It could make the games tougher, make the games less fun, scare away the wrecks. And like, obviously that can be like overstated, but Doyle was kind, had fun with them, has fun with everyone. It was just a great person. And so I tried like really learning that day, because I feel like, I don't know, when anybody passes away, like, there's something to learn from almost everybody's life. I don't know. So yeah.
Wise words, Jeff. Wise words. Colt, did you have something to say?
Yeah, real quick. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Awesome. Real quick question for Jeff. This has been great, by the way. And Jeff, congrats on the deep run. I just moved to Pennsylvania in the last year in the Poconos, so I'm close to Wind Creek and Bethlehem. But I noticed on WSOP.com that there's not a lot of activity on there. How do you survive as a pro just playing online in Pennsylvania with what's available?
So I mean, it's a lot of poker stars, a lot of taking advantage of the series. I mean, luckily, like the games are definitely getting tougher at the high stakes. I play pretty much any buy-in possible though. Like, you know, when somebody says like you're a grinder, like I grind it out 5 days a week. Put in like a few hours. I don't go overboard on studying. I only probably study an hour or two a week, but I make them make it a really good time. But yeah, in regards to WSOP.com in Pennsylvania, they've really stepped it back recently. Now, this is going to be ironic that I'm complaining about it, but they changed their whole schedule to mystery bounties as soon as they launch them. So they don't have like any regular tournaments, essentially, which is the craziest thing, except like the ring events. But hopefully they get their head on their shoulders, because people don't want to just play mystery bounties, as the only event that they run in like 60 to 100 player fields. In an 18,000 player field, I can tell you that the mystery bounty is like extraordinarily fun, but playing 100 man mystery bounty every night where the top mystery prize isn't like too much money isn't as exciting, and playing 3 of those a day and whatnot. So yeah, but yeah, I agree with you. They have kind of a tough selection, but Stars has probably 80% of the market share right now, in terms of like tournaments and even cash games. And then then also just taking advantage of, like, people don't take advantage of like deposit bonuses. People don't take advantage of rakeback. Like, I probably made $11,000 in rakeback last year alone, from like deposit bonuses. And then not to mention, like, they have big events that can have the potential to overlay, and hopping in those. I mean, that can be free money if you're usually break even in a field. So yeah.
Cool. Great. That's really helpful. I appreciate it.
So you said you're coming back for the main. Were you planning to play the main before the cash, or what was your plans?
Yeah. So I mean, I after my Colossus run in 2021, I felt like I was only 24. I felt on top of the world, and so I hopped in the main, sold half of myself. Luckily, there are people that bought my action, and I got absolutely crushed. From in day one, I was in from the beginning. I only bagged like 20% of what the starting stack was, and I got owned so bad, and I barely made it toward the beginning of day 2. So I was like, you know what? No matter what happens this year, I was like, and it was always my dream to play in the main event. When I was a kid, I started playing poker because of there's this World Series of Poker game on the GameCube, and the only reason I had it was when I was like 12. It came with my GameCube, and like Chris Ferguson was the cover of that, and so that like came with my GameCube and whatnot. So that's how I started playing. But then I would play in the $10,000 main event for like play money. As soon as I would bust it, because I always wanted to win the main event, like on the GameCube. And as soon as I would bust the main event, I'd have to unplug my GameCube, plug it back in so that I could fire it again in that day. And so that happened a lot, and I never won it on the GameCube. It was actually pretty tough to win, and I obviously had no idea what I was doing.
That'd be a hell of a story.
Yeah, I should probably go back and try winning it now on the GameCube. But anyway, so then once I played in 21, like it was like my dream to play. I felt like I was outclassed, and then so I told myself I wasn't going to play it last year, and I told myself if I felt good about my game, I'm going to play it this year, and I'm feeling a lot better about it. I sold half of myself. I have half of myself, and so we're going to do it this year, but see how it goes.
Yeah, that's exciting. I think that the only thing that compares to walking in for the main event it's really weird. Like day one of the main event feels like a day three to me. Like you walk in, you're just like, just kind of ready to go, you know? But I would say if I have any advice, is don't listen to, and I'm not saying Snoop Dogg, don't listen to Snoop Dogg at all on any kind of device as you walk in, because there was one year that I fired off like half my chips in the first level. I was like ready to go. So yeah, it's a long grind, and definitely, I think seeing a lot of hands, maybe playing some cash before the main is kind of a big advantage, and just settling down and realizing it's such a deep structure, and even though you said like you're outclassed to a certain extent, but like the reality is there's plenty in that field that don't really belong in that field, certainly not for a 10K buy-in. So and as somebody like yourself that's made it to the end of two major fields, you're definitely a better than average chance to run deep. So yeah, I think that the thing is just stay patient and find your spots, and that's something that you've done already. So getting through 18,000 people, what did that feel like as you get down toward the end and that kind of thing? You're sitting there with 3 tables to go, 4 tables to go, that kind of thing.
Oh man, I mean, I remember when there's like 12 tables left. Like, so we were in the Paris Black section for all of day 2, and I remember when they're at the beginning, like you could still see the whole room was filled with mystery bounty at the beginning of day 2. By the end of day 2, when there's like 10 tables left, I look and I'm like, oh shit, we're in the last row of tables. I'm like, what the like hell? Like there are just so many people. There are multiple rooms of people. So then I don't know. I was just like, damn, like how lucky am I to be here? Like I had won to propel myself. I had won like ace queen to queens, and like I never like really forgot that hand because I was like, damn, it's a free roll from here. Like I had 5 bigs, spun it up. That was after the money. But yeah, I mean, just an incredible feeling. Looking around and like, and I also wanted to mention, so I'm a big member of the Pennsylvania Discord community. Shout out to some of the people that I see out there. And one of the guys that I've been in, and we've been in this Discord building it up. We have like 700 people just from Pennsylvania in there, and we all support each other and whatnot. And they were incredibly supportive when I had my Colossus run, and also rooted me on here. And it was funny. One of the other members that's a massive part of the community and always railing anybody that has a deep run at WSOP, whatever. His name is Matt McNeil. He got 24th. I got 27th. We both bagged 19.4 million chips going into day 3, so we both got to experience the run together on breaks. We were talking, and so it was pretty crazy to run deep with him too, and hear his experiences and stuff. So yeah, no, it's just the whole thing is so cool. There, like, I heard somebody saying that like, there's no experience like running deep in the World Series, and like I can 100% attest. I've ran deep in like 500, 700 player fields in PA, and I mean running deep in the World Series, playing for $1 million. Like it was funny. I honestly, there's been times in the World Series like I played in a $500 freeze out, and I was like sweating pay jumps and stuff, and all that, and like this time I like never looked at the payout board. So, and I feel like I played way better that way because you can get so caught up in like in the payout, like it directly in the payouts, like in these events, like $1 million, like that would change my life like so much. Like I can't even tell you what I would do with that to help other people and like help myself and set myself up for the future and whatever. I mean, we all could. So I just like really was not thinking about that. But yeah, I mean, it was a surreal experience. I was just like so disappointed when it came to an end because I felt like truly And sometimes I definitely wouldn't feel this way, but I felt like I was one of the best players left in the field, and I was feeling so good about my game. I mean, you have to when you get through that many people. I feel like everybody was feeling that way. So yeah, I don't know.
Amazing. Good for you, Jeff. For you to be such a role model for other players to, make a deep run, 10th place in the Colossus. And if I remember, that was a field of over 20,000. And what an amazing run you've been on. And we look forward to that continuing this summer.
Do you ever when you're that deep, do you ever start to allow yourself to think about, like, you know, the end, like winning the bracelet, or do you try to shut that out of your mind, or that, or what?
So I mean, I honestly, and this is like a cliche poker thing, but when I'm running deep, I try, like, so I like to post updates for people because I know that, like, I have friends back home that weren't able to make make it out to the World Series, that like really want the updates. But honestly, like, I try to stay off of Twitter as much as possible. Now, like, I posted that monster stack of all the 5Ks, and that was like absolutely insane. But then, like, my notifications are popping off. I just put it on like do not disturb while I was playing. Uh, and like, I just, like, on breaks, I was just like meditating, trying to get back to like my zen and not trying to let the moment get too big. So like, really, I'm just trying to focus on, you know, I have 30 big blinds. Uh, I know that this guy plays this way. This guy plays this way. This guy is a Brazilian crusher with GG Poker, taking video of every single hand and, interviewing him on breaks and shit. And like, I know that he's sharp, and, just like factoring it all in and not focusing at all on the money. Just like, I was just trying to make all the best decisions possible. Yeah, that was it.
Isn't it's pretty weird though, like you get to that spot, and I mean, you're going through 18,000 people, and then you end up at the end with such a high percentage of people that maybe, or I mean, I don't know if it's a super high percentage, but given 18,000, like, there's people that in the field, and then kind of feeling that, I think you said, being kind of relaxed and feeling like you're one of the better players left, and that kind of thing, like, is pretty strange, huh?
Oh, it's insane. And like, I also want to say, like, everybody knows Chris Hoonigan, like big Hooney, and I mean,
Yeah.
he had an insane run. He had, like, so I had a big stack at multiple times on day two, but like toward the end of the day, I got crippled after my whole running down the strip incident, whatever, and but I played with him at like 4 different tables within the last like 10 tables. I mean, he was absolutely crushing it. And he's one of the guys that, they say one of the best without a bracelet. And like, he was just playing so well, so locked in. Like, you could tell this man, and he's such a nice guy too. And for him, I think he went out 14th, and it just goes to show you, like, how much, like, sometimes it's just not meant to be, because he had pocket queens on the button, how he busted. There's like 14 left. He was third in chips out of 14 left. Probably by like the best player in the field. Like, there was a guy, Ryan McKnight. He's from Pennsylvania. He's an absolute crusher. Like, the Brazilian pro guy was still in. Like, there's probably like five really good players, but like Hooney was just, I mean, insane, making all the right plays, bobbing and weaving. Like, I had so much respect for what he was doing. And then he had pocket queens on the button, 25 big blinds. The big stack was in the big blind, had like 45 big blinds. Just like, I'm pretty sure just jammed it. Like, you have to call queens there. And so he calls, and like, he's out, and it's just like, there's just so many things that you have to dodge, so many coolers and bad beats. But I mean, yeah, it is so crazy. Yeah, I don't know.
Gotta win those flips.
Yeah, I've always said that, the percentages switch, what, and we could debate what they are, but, like, getting to the money is leans more skill, and then from then on out, the farther that you go, it's more and more luck along the way. So it's crazy to to get down there near the end of one of these events and just like that's the dream, and I think that's why it's so important what you're saying earlier with GG, or not with GG, with WSOP online, and them not having the right tournament structures. To me, it seems like they're trying to lean it toward the amateur player and things like that. And the short-sightedness of that is the amateur player doesn't come in without the story that of Jeff Stellwagon, the amateur player doesn't get there if there isn't somebody in the game that they have to look up to that's saying, wow, this person came from, what did you say, Xbox World Series, or I don't
Yeah, the
know,
GameCube.
GameCube World Series, to now, crushing this huge event. They don't get there. That's why Moneymaker and all of that. It's not, it's certainly Danu Negreanu, all these people have a pull, but it's just like Poker Pro Eric. He'll tell you, like that guy that a couple weeks back at the golf tournament, where at the PGA, where he had a killer weekend, and he was somebody that like wasn't the big name guy, and and now, like, I would watch golf just to see if he continues that kind of run or not. And to me, he's probably the biggest thing in golf since Tiger Woods. So that's what, to me, the World Series is all about. Like, come out to Vegas and make your run and try to see where you can go from there. So
Well, and I'm just going to add to that, Jeff, you are everything that's right in the world of poker. And it's hard to find those, folks like you, who are setting a great example and handling yourself in a good way to be the role model to others. So you're definitely everything that's right in this world of poker right now.
Eric, did you have a question? Comment?
Yeah, did you just refer to golfer Michael Block as the biggest thing since Tiger Woods?
I believe it. To me, he's the biggest thing since Tiger Woods, because I don't watch golf, and I would be willing to watch him play to see what.
Okay. Oh, here you go, Brian. Here's your shot. So Michael Block did get invited to this week's Canadian Open as a sponsor's exemption, so he will be playing in Canada on his special invite starting Thursday. So tomorrow, you can watch Michael Block all you want again.
I'm gonna watch that tournament, and there was no chance I was watching that without him. So hopefully he can run up his stack, or whatever you guys call it.
Run down his scorecard.
Oh, run down. Yeah, that would have been funny. Run up his score. Eric's like, no. So,
oh, that's hilarious.
Eric, how was your day yesterday? Did we make it happen?
I made it 14 levels. They bagged after 15.
Oh,
It was I did really. At one point I was the chip leader at the table, but it was, if it's Omaha limits, so you can't really run it up too big. It was so awkward. At one point there was only one guy at the table who was winning some hands, and everyone else had starting stack or less. Like 8 people, 7 of them had starting stack or less. It was such a weird table. Because of that, there wasn't a lot of gambling going on, even in Omaha, and I didn't run up to 19.4 million for day 2 like Jeff did.
Yeah, well, I mean, dude, it's so funny sometimes. Like I had a run at Borgata. They had an $800 $1 million guaranteed tournament. Poker Pro Eric, like, talking about this guy that has all the chips and nobody else has chips. I had a span of 4 levels where in like 30 hands I had pocket aces 6 times. I had pocket kings 6 times. It was like level 6 though, and I had pocket queens twice. I had ace king twice. I had jacks 10s like each once, and like I had like 4x starting stack, and then the whole rest of the event I literally never saw a hand better than like pocket 5s or like ace jack. And it's just like, you just never know like when it's gonna hit you, when it's like when the deck's gonna get hot for you. Like I mean, that's why we love the game, though, because then it's like, okay, I got all these chips. I haven't had shit for cards in, like, because I used it literally, like, and I don't believe in, like, really in the whole, like, using your cards up, but, like, I really did that day because it was just insane. I was just coolering everybody. You just never know. Like, that
Well, yeah,
guy just,
you
wow, you
played the
guys
cards you were
went on such
dealt.
a
Like,
run.
I would suggest in the future, though, if I played this tournament again, I would do what Phil Hellmuth did. Phil Hellmuth busted the 7-card stud yesterday morning early. Then he went and registered for the 25K high roller, no limit. He busted that, and then he went to his room and he busted the online $500 event. And then I'm not saying I'm a bust always. What I'm saying is then he late registered the Omaha last night. The Omaha's limit, by the way, I mentioned again. So nobody had a huge stack. He jumped in like level 12 or level 11. Level 9. Level 9 was the last level you could jump in. You bagged at level 15. He did bag, I believe. It was a small stack. But when
He did.
yeah, so here's the thing, though. When Helmuth jumped in the tournament, like I said, Jeff, my whole table except one guy basically had starting stack. I was just tired from playing for like 9-10 hours all day in a limit tournament, which is I'm not mad at that. But like the whole table had the same fucking stack as Phil Helmuth did starting at like 10 p.m. So I would just like jump in at 10 p.m. next time and start with 25,000 chips and then go from there because no limit, like you said, you get hot with the deck, you can run up a big stack. I would suggest any limit tournament or mixed tournament, just go as late as you freaking can because I was tired.
Might not be a bad plan of action. At least you wouldn't be tired. Hit that speaker button.
So I'm seeing here that KevMath just retweeted the Orleans Poke Room. As we've proven this, and this maybe this is a troll account. As we've proven this summer, our guarantees are exactly that, guaranteed. Every period, single period, event period, poker is alive.
Uh-oh, I think that was directed directly to you, Brian.
Yeah. I asked them if it's new for this year. So,
Oh, I love it.
oh my goodness.
That's so funny that was a tweet.
I
So
see that WSOP tweeted out they're canceling the $50 satellite at noon today. So
Thank you
yeah,
for that
that's
update.
Wait, that's the Gladiator, right? That one?
yeah,
Yes.
Yeah. I'll be honest, guys. I like satellites, but it's a $300 tournament. You probably really shouldn't run any satellites for a $300 tournament ever. Come on.
yeah. Yeah, the satellites are called the Stooge Classic satellite.
Stop yourself.
All right, so I got a question for Jeff now. Based on his experience last week, how many entries are you expecting for the Gladiator once all the flights are done? What do you think?
I mean, it's actually really funny. So, I had a guy that said that he wanted the over on 20,000 runners for the Gladiator, and I was like, okay, I'll take you up on it, like $500 for the bet. I'll take the under. This was before the World Series, and then as soon as I played in this Mystery Million, I didn't actually. He said, "Nah, 500's too much. Like, I'll pass." And like, I'm usually a pretty good judge of like this kind of stuff, but I think this year is just so crazy, dude. Like, I truly think that I would now set the line at over 25,000 because I think that the World Series can handle it. I think that people are coming in to play multiple flights. The last flight, I think that the maximum amount of people that they can get butts in seats 10-handed is going to be like 9,000, 10,000 because they were at capacity for the Mystery Million for
Yeah, no,
a really
I can
long
see
time.
10,000 because the people are going to play a lot looser. I think in the $300 tournament, I think they're going to be a lot of bust outs more than the millions. Even I think.
How many rebuys is it per
I think
flight?
it's
Two.
just like the Mystery Bounty. I think it's 1+1.
Yeah, you get
Are they
one.
doing
No, I
4
think it's
flights,
two.
Jerry? You know?
Oh,
No,
is
I
it
think
two?
it's
Yeah,
I think it's 2 rebuys, people. 2
I mean,
rebuys.
there's so many people that were capped out on buy-ins in the Mystery Million. So like, I mean, there were guys that I was playing with who were like deep in day 2 who fired all 8 bullets. So like, there's definitely people that are gonna gonna fire at that. But yeah, I mean, in the Mystery Million for a while, they said that they had, like, Kev Math had tweeted out that they had 525 tables 10-handed for the Mystery Million, and there got to a point in like level 2 on day 1D where there was 5,250 people on the board, and all of a sudden the late reg line stopped moving in level 2, and I was like, uh-oh, people are not gonna bust out now like they were. So then that
Well,
line
and
got really massive, and some people skipped. So I don't know,
I'm gonna remind everybody. I said this earlier, but I know some weren't here. In 2019, the Big 50 had 28,377 entries. So I think it's going to be bigger than that.
So let me ask the panel this, because I've actually thought about this. I'm not sure I know. Well, I definitely don't know the answer. Like, for rec players that are coming in that play in these that, like, and I also play in these low buy-in events too. But for people that play these low buy-in events for fun, do you think that they would find the $300 Gladiator, which to be a better value than the $400 Colossus, or how does that work? Because I wasn't really sure. Like, I was like, I don't know which one would actually get more runners, to be honest with you. Like,
I
maybe
think
the date has to do with it. I don't know.
I just think it's when they're going to be in town. Really, I think those are a wash. I think it's just, what am I going to be there when the Gladiator is there, or am I going to be there when the Colossus is there? And I'm
Well,
going to be
Sherry,
honest.
I'll throw some. I'll throw something similar to what you're talking about. I think Jeff earlier in the series is more people when they have, like, this sounds weird, but people have more money, right? Like, not
Yes.
everyone cashes like you. So I think we're very very early in the series still. So a lot of people that fly to Vegas are like, they still have cash. They're ready to fire on this one. Then later on.
And I'm going to tell you, I swore off the Colossus ever since it started. I said I would never play that tournament. And I find myself thinking, oh, this year may be the year I play the Colossus. And so, even I've had a different change of heart about it. But I just think for most, especially those that just don't, can get to Vegas on a $59 one-way ticket, for those of us that are flying from a little further away, it's just which one is going on when I'm there, really.
Yeah, I think that the Colossus, I mean, that's an event I've ran deep in several times. I think I had like a 30 something or somewhere in there, and just love that event. But these low buy-in events, you obviously have a much better chance. I think that year was a year where the year I ran really deep in that, was a year where I had a lot of chances to fire at it, and and so you can just go for it. But I think, Jeff, the real thing is, if you're that I've been thinking about, if you're coming into town to play, and let's say you're not somebody that can afford 5 bullets at that, maybe you got 2, what the strategy is for that. And to me, I think waiting until those last days, where even if the people that have a lot of bullets are they're all sitting there saying, do I really want to give up my seat and get in line? So just because you have the bullet doesn't mean that you can use it. And so it kind of, that last day puts everybody on a little bit more on a level playing field, if you're if you're seeing like a majority of the field not really caring. The other side to that is like, hey, the guys that don't care and come to your table, and you're able to get them trapped in a hand and run up a stack. So there's obviously two schools of thought to that. What do you think? What would be your strategy?
Yeah, so I mean, if I only had 2 bullets, and and this was how the Colossus was for me in 2021, where like I could only play like 2 bullets is like what I gave myself to playing the Colossus, because I wanted all of myself. I didn't want to sell. I was trying to be like pretty responsible. It was kind of a shot take for me then. And I mean, after seeing like this mystery field, like, what I would say is, like, I had the pleasure, I guess you could say, of playing in all 4 days. I had 4 bullets 4 bullets total. One in two in the last fight, and then one on day 1B, day 1C. And I would say, like, at the in the earlier flights, you're 100% right. Like, if you're somebody that wants to play more of a tighter style and snipe people and pick them off, like, it's gonna work pretty well. It's gonna be slightly higher variance, but it's gonna work really well for you, because there's all these pros that act like $300 is literally nothing, like, or whatever, like they were acting like $1,000 was nothing. And knowing who those players are, not telling the table, like I heard multiple older gentlemen say, like, I'm only firing once at this, and then it's just like, okay, like, people are gonna maybe bluff you a little bit more. Like, don't give up that information of what your plan is to fire. People ask me if I'm gonna, like, and I mean, obviously I'm giving up the information on Twitter so people know. Like, people were asking me, though, at the table, who didn't know me, like European guys, pros, whatever. It's just like, what bullet are you on? I'm just like, I don't know. What is it? Like, what does it matter? Or I would lie and say the opposite of what I wanted. I mean, you don't want to give these people any additional information. Like, I had this one guy who was not playing very, very well at all, and he was showing literally every single hand he was a part of. And, like, if he wasn't showing his hands, I guarantee you he would have had, like, 3x the stack. So, yeah, I would say, but if you're a more aggressive player, then people are definitely tightening up on day 1D. Like, I noticed that when I was playing 1D, the play was completely different from 1B and 1C, where people had multiple chances. Like, the play was way different, because I almost made the money on 1C, 1B. I only made it a little bit past late reg, but at the end of 1C, I feel like people, and maybe it was my table draw, I felt like people were really going for it because they knew they had more chances. And day 1D, they were playing real poker, and, like, if you wanted to get somebody to fold, you might be able to make it happen, that kind of thing. So,
yeah, it's definitely also the skill level goes way up of the people that you're playing with, and like you said earlier, you're starting to play with different people that you've seen before and stuff like that. I always had Ryan Lamplant. I always mess up his name.
LaPlante.
LaPlante, yeah. It was weird. Like, every year that I would run deep, he would be like in the tournament running deeper than me, So, you start to see people that you've seen there before, and just realize how much of it is, a skill game, So obviously you have your years where you run better than others and that type of thing, but on average, when you get down to the end, you're going to be playing against competent players.
I do got to call you out on that a little bit. I've learned over the years at the World Series that because of the media coverage and
We lost you, poker player.
I'm sorry, guys. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, we can.
Yep.
So there's so many good players, so many name players. Like, there's more name. Like let's say Jeff does another big cash coming up. He's going to become like a known player. Like, oh, that's the guy that ran twice now deep in tournaments, and like you feel like you're seeing the same names, but there's so many like name players that it feels like they're all running deep. Of course, we did just have the guy that won back-to-back Dealer's Choice Award tournaments. That's maybe different, but like, there's so many name pros down here. Like, last night in my Omaha. Now, I didn't get to play with any name pros at my table, but the table over, I told you, Helmuth joined late, and then the other table over, I talked to Barry Greenstein for a little bit, so I saw those guys. But like, every year, there's more Barry Greensteins that come out of the woodworks. There's more Jeff Stellwagons that are the young guns, and I feel like we see these famous names late in day 2, but we forget about the other hundreds of them that didn't make day 2. It's like, we don't know if they're all crushers. That's all.
Yeah, it could be just that the field gets more concentrated, so you see the people that you know more. But Barry, you got a question or comment?
Yeah, I just want to congratulate Jeff for his deep run, and famous to you is what it is. I mean, just unknown. I mean, I go back since 1990. I just looked at my results, and my deepest runs in the WSOP was like 38th and 40th in mixed events. And other than that, I have like 27 final tables, all over the country. So just because you don't know them, don't mean they're not somebody.
We know you're a killer, Barry. Don't lie.
Well, very wise words, Barry.
Sherry, how did you like that video I sent you?
I love that video. Please send it to Brian so he can see that video.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thanks. Yeah. Yeah. And it's all relative. And the reality is I've seen, that I've seen people that I thought were like amazing players make absurd plays, and, or make or make plays that I'm like, wow, they see the game so differently than I see it, so it's always good to reflect on that and think about not just like, oh, what were the odds, but like, how did that person play the hand differently than I did, and what were they thinking, when they made the decisions that they did. So it's really interesting. I had the opportunity to talk through a hand that I played with somebody, and just hearing his perception of what I sold. You get into a hand and sometimes you forget the story that you've been telling. And so it's like, you maybe you convince the person that you have ace king when you have a big pair, and then they do something that you don't expect. So, poker is so much a game of self-awareness and memory and all of that. And then obviously like the charts and all that stuff, I don't know, like it's kind of interesting I think that there's a certain level that maybe helps people maybe even earlier on than we think. Like I don't know, anybody a GTO person here that can say, like, speak to that, because I don't do a lot of chart study.
I'm just going to say, do we really want to talk about GTO?
Yeah, no, probably not. Yeah, but let's just talk in general, Jeff. What do you think?
I mean, I would say that, like, in these fields, like, you just if you play your game and you know how to adjust, that is the most important thing, bar none. And if you know, if you have like a general understanding of like how the GTO guys are playing, then like there are some of the European players who are just like trying to play that style, and then you just know like a roundabout of like what they're gonna do, like pre-flop and whatever, and then like, okay, they're going to be doing that. But then if they're going to be doing that against somebody that is playing way off the wall, like it's not like I talked about earlier, it's not going to work out at all. So I think like the whole goal is just like having a general understanding. But like in these fields, the people that aren't exploiting, that aren't adjusting, I think are drawing almost as dead as this guy that stumbled onto the strip drunk, hopped in the mystery million. I played with him. He had 10 big blinds under the gun, or like 9 big blinds under the gun opened for 4 or like 3.5x. He had pocket fours and like he flatted off of the 9 big blinds. And anyway, flop came out like whatever. Anyway, the guy, he was just doing a bunch of stuff that like, he was drawing pretty dead. But like the guys that are playing this GTO strategy against people that are just playing so far off, like they have no chance either. So these fields you have to adjust. I agree though. Like in these 10Ks where like if other people are playing super sharp, then like you also hypothetically then have to play sharp back against them. So there's a line to toe for sure.
It with the risk of bringing up the word, it's like playing a super meta level game with somebody that just doesn't get it, and you're like, how do you call off there? Didn't I almost 99% have to have XYZ there, and they're like, yeah, I didn't get what you were trying to sell there. So that's really important.
Yeah, I mean, also, like, I think the undersold thing nowadays is, like, in these fields, everybody's excited to be there. Everybody is like, I would say 80% of the field is like happy to talk hands. And like when I'm talking hands, I try to be very general and not like give up too much, but like give up enough where I'm asking questions that are going to give me potential information of like where somebody's understanding of the game are. And like just getting like Daniel Negreanu was on Lex Friedman's podcast. Don't know if you guys listened to that. Maybe it was a few months ago or like a year ago now. And that was an amazing podcast for me to listen to, because Daniel's like, I just try to get them talking. And I mean, you learn so much about people just by, hearing them talk about the game and whatever. And so, you're going to be able to make a few assumptions then that might help you out too. So, I mean, it's all so fluid, like, and the guys that are the greatest, I think, are the best at realizing that.
Yeah, it's definitely perception, and I think that in business it's really helped me at times. Walking in, I had a time where I had to walk into a meeting and a client hadn't paid their bill, and they needed us to do more work and that kind of thing, and and I'm totally bluffing, like this idea that we may not be able to make payroll if you don't pay, and this kind of thing. And and so you're sitting here playing a poker game at the business table of trying to get to the end of the tournament, so to speak. So it's funny how much in life, like, you do learn from poker, and listening and letting people give away their side and their strategy, and that kind of thing is really, really important. So yeah, I really appreciate that, Jeff.
And one thing to piggyback on that too, for anybody that is going out shot taking, just play your game. I mean, that's what you do best. Confidence is going to be your biggest tool. I mean, don't play scared. It's going to be, you're going to be nervous, but just play your game. Like you said, the GTO stuff really doesn't apply unless you're with a table full of crushers, and even then, most of them still go exploitative. So, I mean, that's the thing. Just play your game, have fun. And that's the dream. Try to make that run. I mean, there's so many high equity spots that if you just run good, I mean, that's kind of the difference between the well-known, some of the well-known crushers that I mean, they binked a few right away early on, and then they can, just keep doing it over and over again. But
put your phone and your headphones away and pay attention.
For
I had
sure.
a guy.
You got to be locked in. You got to
I
be
had a
locked
guy
in.
the
You got
other
to be
day.
focused.
I had a guy the other day. I was in the 10 seat. He was in the 1 seat, and we get to the river, and I fully bluffed with ace high. I figured, by now I think I had fired maybe 3 streets at him, and he had missed his draw. And so he had his headphones on. I made it like 5,200, and he throws out like 5,300 or something like that, not realizing that I had bet. And so obviously it's just a call at that point. I'm like, it's not very often that you make a bluff on the river and the guy like insta calls you think, but he was trying to raise, and I sheepishly turned over my ace high, and he folds. I was like, what the heck is going on here? But it's another example of, like, pay attention. I've had times where I wasn't paying enough attention. I got to the river on a hand last year, and I looked down at my hand again, which I don't usually do, and I had like so like a I think it was just a flush. It was almost a straight flush, but I end up rivering the flush, and I'm just like so shocked at this hand. Like, so it kind of helps if you know what your hand is and you're paying attention throughout. It helps. It's a good strategy.
Lord knows we've all played that hand, and at the end go, "Oh, that's not what I thought I had."
Well, exactly. Among a lot of other things, but that's a huge one. Just of the crushers is just capitalizing on all the dead money pots that you can pick up, and all these different. It's just the same things happening over and over again. So just pattern recognition, and just picking up those pots that that you're fighting for, that you know, I mean, that's a huge part of it. And then you go on your heaters and you know, just play your game. But good luck to everybody.
Thanks, Any too. Jeff, did you have something?
Too, Brian.
Well, I just want to say, like, you know, great point, Brian. I would say, like I always tell people, always bring your headphones and rarely use them. Like, I've had a few friends that have started to play live, and like, you bring them because if you have somebody that is unbearably annoying at your table, like I've only ever had this maybe 5 times in my life, but somebody that is just really brutal and it tilts you, like, okay, put in your headphones, like always have them just in case, you never know. And also if you get in a really bad headspace, like I was really, really beating myself up when I was late from that dinner break because I had a big chiply at my table and I come back 25 minutes late and now the guy on my direct left covers me, the guy on his left covers me, and now I'm like, man, I just lost this ICM spot. Like, put me on tilt a little bit, and I don't usually let myself get that way. And like, I just like put in my headphones for 20 minutes, kind of regrounded myself, and then I was ready to go again. You know, took them out as you know as soon as I was feeling good again, and then you know you go from there. So I totally agree with you though, 100%.
And I did that. I do the same. I bring my headphones. I never have them on. It's somebody unless somebody's really obnoxious, and then I put them in, and I don't even turn any music on. And most of the time, my plug's not even plugged into anything, and I set it on the table to see if anybody notices. Like, how observant is my table? Do they even notice that the plug end of my earphones is setting on the table, and that I'm not listening to music? I'm actually just listening to them, but you know, they think I have music, and it's quite hilarious. It's quite funny to watch the table in that situation. Go
DMC.
ahead.
Yeah,
Sorry.
the comment on having the headphones not plugged in, that is something that I'll do as well. Like, partly because uh, a lot of times people will, like, you know, engage in conversation like directly with you, like while you're trying to focus really hard. And so that is something I would get caught up in all the time, is like getting into these like sports convos or crypto or whatever the hell like people are kind of shooting the shit about. And it does like affect my ability to actually, you know, play my A game. And so I'll throw those on for the sake of like people not trying to like start conversations with me. And I do agree that like they're kind of critical to have with you for like exactly what had been mentioned by Jeff and stuff, like kind of, you know, refocusing with something that, you know, you enjoy listening to or whatever. But I just wanted to kind of chime in on the GTO stuff that you guys mentioned. Like, really, the best players that I've like come across, and like I considered myself like a really good player until I got to the World Series of Poker and actually sat down with like the really high skilled like hyper lags, like the ones that like truly are able to like take a pot away at any point, based on, you know, whatever the hell they're basing their decisions on. Like, those guys are not playing GTO by any means, but their skill set is like so advanced that they're the scariest players like to face, like hands down. And you will come across them as you run deep in like the cheap events. So like the Gladiator, you know, in like, you know, hour 8 or 9 or day 2, like you're gonna get like boiled down to tables where there's some people that are just, you know, at the, you know, above 1% level of skill set, and they generally, you know, from my experience, are like hyper legs, because tag players, you know, you kind of understand like you're gonna, you know, possibly get into like flips with them. With lags, it's like you have to find the flip if you're lucky, you know, and they're very hard to trap, because they're so, you know, good at that particular playing type. And kind of the last thing about the WSOP is you guys were talking about, you know, playing your game. um, that was something I recognized immediately, is like that actual environment makes it the hardest to play your actual game, or like you're thrown off by the environment and the energy and the types of, you know, players that you're sitting against, to where it will throw you off your game. And if you're able to like really maintain that focus throughout and play what you truly know is your best form of poker, that's like the kind of key to getting it done there, I feel like. And I'm saying this as like a min cash master, but I still feel comfortable putting that out there, where like playing your style of poker is actually extremely hard to do there. And like, you have to be able to handle the, the mental aspect of being able to, complete the plays that you're normally going to make. Like, it just makes it much harder there for whatever reason.
Well, those are some great points. Jeff, you got something?
Well, I just want to say I agree with him 100% there. But I do have to start getting running, heading over to Wynn, gonna shower quick, meet up with a friend for lunch. But I really appreciate you guys having me and kind of letting me tell my story. I mean, that's what this is all about. Like, if somebody's moment comes up, I just think it's such a great opportunity to be able to kind of speak about it and retell it. And I really appreciate you guys.
Yeah, thanks, Jeff, for coming on. Really appreciate you doing that, and that's what poker, honestly, for me. I mean, a lot of you guys make your living doing this, and that sort of thing. For me, it's more about the experience than anything else, and there's nothing like making a World Series deep run. So really appreciate you coming on and letting everybody live vicariously through you. There's so many people around the world sitting at home, like, never been to the World Series. So I'm a big believer in letting people kind of understand that experience.
And thank you, Jeff, for being being what's right in the world of poker. Thank you, and good luck in the rest of your summer, bud.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Anybody else have anything? If not, we'll wrap it up.
I have to do my daily reminder.
Yes, go for it, Sherry.
Daily reminder of what pictures you need to take while you're at the WSOP, besides the ones of you drunk, having fun. Number one, take a picture of your entry ticket. So you'll always have your entry ticket with you, even if not in paper form. Number two would be your chip stack before you leave for break, so that you can double check if they colored you up that they did it correctly. Number three would be the table number of where you're sitting, Oh my goodness, where you're sitting before you go on break. Take a picture of your table number. Number four would be take a picture of your car in the parking spot that it's in, or the level you're on, so you can be reminded of where your car is parked. And number five would be to take a picture of any day 2, day 3, day 4 slips, entry slips, so that you have a copy of those as well. So thank you, everybody.
Yeah, thank you, guys. Really appreciate that. Any two cards? You're coming in Thursday or Friday? I can't remember.
Yeah, I'm coming in Friday morning. Be there till the 20th. So I'll
Whoop,
be
whoop.
hitting the Wynn and hitting the Venetian. Hopefully not. Hopefully we're just running deep in first couple WSOP ones. So then we'll just do strictly WSOP and take some bigger shots at the 3Ks and 2Ks. But we'll see. But yeah, so Jeff, definitely good luck. Let us know about the Wynn tomorrow. Hopefully you're in day 2. But yeah, I mean, that one other thing I was going to add to the other guy there that was talking about everything, I agree with that too. I play a very exploitative style. I've tried to do GTO different times, and it just doesn't fit me. I've tried to, like, I'm a cash game player. I talk a lot. I'm friendly. Get the table going, get the action rolling. So just play your style and go for stacks. I mean, there's a time and place for value bets, early on and build it up and later, but there's also a time and place to just go for stacks against certain opponents. And that's how you really take off and build that stack to propel you to making that deep run, or, shipping it, final table in it. So, but
there's definitely a reality to just kind of settling down and playing your own game. By the way, Jeff, I'm the one that you would have to usually put on your earphones for. Sometimes.
I was going to say, me too, not really the obnoxious part, but I definitely talk a lot. I mean, sometimes I can rub people the wrong way, but they end up, they definitely have a good time. But
It's
yeah,
all with
I was
good,
gonna.
it's all with a good heart.
Yeah,
That's
it's all with a good heart, and it's all with just
just
having fun, and
yeah.
that's just playing my game. I've realized that over the years. I've tried to just be a bot and just not say nothing and this and that, and it just you're out of your game. You're actually hurting yourself. Just depends on who how you play. If that's how you play, and you're Beethoven sitting there not saying a word, then that helps you. But if you're not and you're talking to them, that kind of gets them out of their game, as well as the headphones. I don't use them that much anymore either, but it does. If you need to change your mood, you're kind of going on tilt, or you're disappointed about this or that, you can tell your mood change. Put on some music, put on something, recenter, get back at it, and keep going, and don't regret anything. Just go for it. I mean, I have a few bigger ones that, 2017 main that I played my queens, soft 2 different times because I wanted to make it to the next day, and this and that, and it's like, what if you just pounded and played your game, So, I mean, I don't know. It is what it is, but we're all trying to hit that dream, So.
Well, great to have you guys all here today, and like I said, great to hear from you, Jeff, about your deep run, and really appreciate you as well, Sherry, and everybody else who helped out today. See you guys tomorrow, 9 a.m. Pacific, where we'll do it all again for day 10 of the WSOP. Hopefully, we'll be telling the story of your deep run tomorrow.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Have a great day. Bye-bye.